Claim Links. Tom, how are you? And we're ready to rock and roll. And we're both in very calming areas now. I'm no longer in Ohio. I'm uh, in the mountains in Tennessee, and you are enjoying yourself in one of your other ventures. And it's we're enjoying the summer, aren't we, Tom?
Both in the mountains, and that's good things.
Exactly, exactly. Our first topic we're going to cover today, and this is going to be really interesting, is generational healthcare, tailoring benefits from millennials to boomers. One thing, Tom, that I've learned from you is specifically enough when you work with a specific company, they don't look ultimately at their entire staff and what their health needs are. And that's part of what you do at ClaimLinks.
Yeah, they are buying it off the shelf from an insurance company and paying X amount per person, and they're not realizing what they could be doing.
Yeah, and what they could be doing, and that's so crazy what you're able to when you work with your team. Here's the first question I have for you. How do healthcare expectations differ significantly across generations, like boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z?
The younger adults in the room usually their needs are, you get your physical year and you may have an accident or two. Usually, that's what gets them using the medical system. An accident, and a strep throat, nothing too major. And the younger ones, they don't have the cholesterol or the blood pressure generally issues. Babies, maternity is another one that they hit. So that is generally what their needs are for their end. Whereas you move up to the older folks, they start getting on those cholesterol and those blood pressure meds. They're the ones, getting the cancers and the diabetes and the conditions that drive the health insurance costs up. So if people understood the Affordable Care Act, they would structure their plan a lot differently and be in compliance with the ACA and save themselves multiple thousands per month of what they're paying to the insurance carrier. Just have to be a little more creative than what's being shown. And it's all about the commissions for these agents, and that's why they have no incentives to do what we're doing.
Exactly, and it takes time, and but also ultimately they're not going to get the commission if they get the deal for you for the company.
Right, and you have to have the owners and the CFOs on board, understanding that you have to change. This isn't sustainable. The office managers and the HR directors should only be directed what to do. They shouldn't be making the decisions. It's a big mistake companies make. A lot of them, I'd say 95% of them.
Why is it important for employers to understand and adapt to generational differences in healthcare needs and preferences?
Because if they don't, they're going to continue. They're paying ridiculous amounts because of the fact they're allowing the unhealthy conditions to drive everyone's health insurance rates up when they can be taking care of it in a better way, actually, for everyone. And they are missing the boat.
Okay. What are some key healthcare benefit features that specifically resonate with millennial and Gen Z employees?
Well, the millennial and Gen Z, it's, if you could have the maternity benefits, the fertility benefits, the uh, promoting good health and nutrition right up so that later in life they don't have the diabetes. Now, that's not going to do anything for their health insurance costs, I hate to tell you. What that does, though, is that those are the things they're into. They're into, you know, doing activities. So making sure that your plan covers accidents and has lower deductibles and lower out of pockets. Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's really interesting because the fact of the matter is a lot of people, a lot of employees don't think they'll ever have that type of health care coverage. Isn't that correct?
They continue down the path. I don't know how any employer can afford to continue to have group health. I mean, paying close to 3,000 a family in some cases. I mean, how can you maintain that path and the rates are going up 5 to 20% every year? Just
Right.
simply is unsustainable. And you've got to change the way that you're viewing it. And if you don't, you're going to get slaughtered.
Now, let me go the other side, and I can't believe I'm mentioned in the same breath as baby boomers. I never would have. I'm getting old, Tom. Let's talk about what types of benefits typically attract and retain baby boomers and Gen X employees most effectively.
Setting up benefits on the health side, covering having lower copays for the drugs they're on, having lower out-of-pocket expenses for the procedures they need. Those are big items. Getting everyone healthy, having a nice wellness program, trying to promote weight loss, trying to promote uh, proper nutrition, those items. Again, the way the health insurance system is, it's not going to do a damn for your health insurance rates. I don't care what the agents say. Because if you're self-funded, all it takes is one bad health to come on because of the HIPAA laws. You can't ask medical questions. So if you structure the health insurance taking advantage of the Affordable Care Act, the HIPAA laws, the ERISA laws, the 1954 tax law, section 105, you can contain and control your costs. But the way everyone's going about it, they cannot.
So, when you talk about the wellness side, I want to jump into that for a second, Tom. I
Yeah.
know one thing you do is the wellness side. Everyone wants those extra types of little benefits, little things that make things a little bit better for the employees. So that's the thing to keep employees now that want to work. That's a hard thing. That's hard to keep people that want to work and not just go and either retire or work for themselves or decide just to stay home and have one person working in the family. What do you think the whole thing about wellness? So you're seeing that baby boomers and Gen X like to see some of these programs and implement it. Is that something at Claim Links you guys look at how the HR works with this benefits plan to make it attractive to even new employees that are interviewing for a job?
Well, your wellness programs, like I said, uh, they're not going, it's a added benefit. So you can add things like you can go to nutritionists, you can go to dietitians, you can go to uh, facility, setting it up so they're working out, setting it up that they're getting, massages, chiropractic, all kinds of items, and you can entice them by making their copays lower. So you're willing to take on that risk. And quite frankly, keeping them healthy keeps them coming to work. And that's the key.
Very interesting. Can you provide a real world example of a company that successfully implemented tailored generational benefit strategies?
Yes, I've had several where they will keep in mind if on the health side, if you're providing benefits, you got to provide it for all, but you can tilt it going, that the younger folks are going to use it. So, you set it up where you're willing to give up to X amount if they want a gym membership. You can set it up where you'll give them X amount uh, or anything from mental health. You can make those lower copays, take away number of office visits, make it so that they can go anytime. You can add telemedicine. There's so many things that you can do to keep the younger folks happy. Have a weight loss contest. Have all kinds of stuff. There's so many things you can do with that. Um, Promote. Hire a massage therapist for those, once a week. And what people don't get is, who cares if some of these benefits aren't tax free? So the owners, you're giving them a benefit. Forget about the taxation of it. Worry about the result. So if massages aren't covered by, where you can write it off, who cares? It's about keeping people happy, having height day, or just all kinds of stuff you can do. Give them an extra half hour at lunch if they want to go to the gym. There's so many things that you can do, but the problem is people they get tunnel vision. You got to look at the whole thing. You got to walk down that mountain and see it all.
Is that something ClaimLinks helps
Absolutely.
the
We
whole
can
company? Mhm.
facilitate programs to promote that. Another one is a lot of the younger folks like going to these doctors where they can pay a monthly fee. Well, let them do it. Let anyone do it, and you pay for it. So, because you're getting your laboratories and all these other things at a much lower cost. It's a
It's
win-win, but a lot of people, they're not in the network for the insurance. So guess what? You have no benefits. And everyone gets caught up on these networks. But I'm sitting there going, do you realize what they're doing? They're giving you like a $10 discount because they're in the network. Why not let everyone pay a copay, go to any doctor? Who cares? So what if one costs $30 more? That people aren't going every day. It's crazy.
that's gonna help the employee engagement. You're teaching me this now.
Yeah.
People that use their health benefits are more likely not to be sick, more likely to be healthier, and more likely to be working longer with that company. That would be an
I'm gonna
interesting
take
stat.
myself. I have a functional medicine doctor, and a lot of people used to call them like witch doctors or whatever. So here's what they do. They had me. There's it's called a Nutra valve. So they do a Nutra valuation on you. So they get you to give a urine sample and a blood sample. They ship it to a place out in Genova Diagnostics. I believe it's in North Carolina. And what happens is they come back and they create your own vitamin based on what you need. So that's what I do. Why do you do that? Well, because if you go to the doctors, I'll give you another example. You go to the doctors and they say, hey, you got high cholesterol. This happened to me. True, most stories are me. So I go and they go, okay, Mr. Quigley, your cholesterol is X. Your HDL to LDL ratio is good. Great. We might want to be doing a statin. I said, whoa, let's do the calcium score test. They put you in MRI, they look at all the hearts, all the vessels, and they give you a score. I come back, I'm a 0. Now, insurance doesn't cover this test. See, that's another thing. As an owner, I cover it through my medical expense plan. So they go boom, 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 and they come out and my score was 0. So I go back to the doc and the doc says, oh, you don't need to be on any statin. I said, well, you just went from saying I need to be on a statin to none. That's when I said I need to get functional doctors and people, because how do you go from being a high risk to you're no risk? You don't have to worry about this. And I'm
Yeah,
sitting there just going, something clicked in my head saying, hey, there's a better way to have a dock. The traditional docks, I mean, they're looking at this, and this. Doesn't it make more sense to look at what you're lacking, what you need, and trying to do it through natural things versus putting chemicals in you? I mean, that's just my opinion.
totally. And
Yeah.
that's the thing of people trying to live longer, try to live their lives and enjoy their lives so they can be in the mountains and enjoy it, not just sit there and do
And
nothing.
being able to hike and not be
Yeah.
just sitting there looking at it. The only reason I'm not hiking right now in this is the bugs up here have been the natural birds of New Hampshire and Maine, the bugs, the mosquito, those little mayflies that had a new hatch. It's just incredible how bad they are.
Yeah, we have those in Ohio. You know that. Okay. So the best place people can go and schedule a call with you today is go to claimlinks.com. Schedule a call with Tom and his team today. Appreciate it, Tom. All right. That was the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Cutting Edge Benefits podcast, guys. Take care.